Welcome to my channel Data Engineering Simplified. In this Snowflake video series, we will learn everything about Snowflake and gain hands-on experience on every unique feature of Snowflake using Snowflake's free trial edition. I hope you would enjoy this visual guided tour on Snowflake. So let's start with the first chapter, Introduction and Snowflake History. So why should we learn Snowflake? Why the world is going behind Snowflake? The Snowflake is relatively new and fresh in the cloud data warehouse space. It is purposefully built only for the cloud platform like AWS, Azure, and GCP. So you cannot have an on-premises edition of Snowflake. It brings many unique features beside workload isolation like time travel feature, data sharing feature, data cloning, also called zero data copy clone, Redis accounts for non-Snowflake users, out-of-box securities like RBAC or DAC, encryption for the data in motion at rest, column level masking, and as well as row level security, which is in the beta version right now. All popular connectors like JDBC, ODBC, Spark, and many more. Pay per second billing model, so you don't need to pay upfront and no big investments are required. You only pay for the actual usage, whether it is storage or compute. Powerful yet simple and very flexible tool. Snowflake named as a Gartner Leader Quadrant as 2019. Snowflake's powerful feature and ease of use is challenging traditional data warehouse solutions. Snowflake's cloud-native approach, dynamic scaling feature, and storage and compute separation challenging even the big data platform. Snowflake support all the standard connectors, so adoption for your data warehousing should be easy and simple. Like ODBC and JDBC connectors, Python, Go, .NET, Node.js, PHP, Spark connectors. Snowflake supports standard ANSI SQL, so all your existing workload running ANSI SQL can be migrated with no or very minimal effort. Enterprise across all the domain, retail, finance, pharma, etc. are moving or migrating towards Snowflake as their platform of choice. By looking at this pricing competitiveness, its unique architecture and feature-rich ecosystem make it one of the most important technology to master, and that's why this simple yet flexible tool becoming so popular. So what's the aim of this course? This course provides a hands-on experience of all Snowflake features that can help you with your Snowflake implementation. This tutorial is filled with live examples using Snowflake free trial edition, including reference material, code snippet, and quizzes. This tutorial also covers theory and practice side by side. We will also discuss best practices and pros and cons of each of the feature, how to use them, and when to and not to use them. There is no prerequisite to learn Snowflake. However, having awareness about cloud and data warehouse concept can help you to correlate the real life scenarios better. So what are we going to cover as a part of this video series? As you can see, we are going to have a total 25 chapters. The first one is all about introduction and Snowflake history. The second chapter is self-registration, which is more hands-on. The third is a very important chapter which covers the Snowflake architecture. Chapter 4 and chapter 5 would cover the legacy web UI as well as Snowsite modern web UI. Chapter 6 talks about Snowflake unique features. We'll deep dive inside each and every unique feature of Snowflake. Chapter 7 will talk about container database schema and table concept. Chapter 8 talks about what is a different kind of Snowflake objects and what all the new objects Snowflake has, which is very different from your traditional data warehouse systems. Chapter 9 is a hands-on and very important chapter. We'll try to load the data and gain some hands-on experience. Chapter 10 all about Snowpipe and how to load the data using a continuous data load mechanism. Chapter 11 will talk about external table and how to load the data from external table and how to access the external data lake using external table. Chapter 12 is all about virtual warehouses, whether single cluster or multiple cluster, along with all the different parameters and how to monitor them. Chapter 13 is Snowflake clustering concept, very important chapter, and I request you to pay good attention to this chapter. Chapter 14 is all about time travel feature. This is one of the unique feature in Snowflake. Chapter 15 will talk about data cloning and practice how to apply the data cloning. Chapter 16 is all about Snowflake data sharing and reader's account. This is also a hands-on chapter. Chapter 17 is a very important, including the chapter 18, which talks about Snowflake stream object and Snowflake task object. Chapter 19 is primarily a ETL process. We'll go through a small ETL workflow and how to build a ETL pipeline using stream and task together. Chapter 20 is more conceptual, where I would walk you through the Snowflake role hierarchy and how you can implement in an organization. Chapter 21 is more about stored procedure, UDFs and views. This is also very important chapters because when you build a ETL pipeline, you may need to have stored procedures, UDFs and views. Chapter 22 is more about Snowflake's information schema, and chapter 23 is about Snowflake monitoring and billing. These are more theory and conceptual chapters. Chapter 24 will talk about Snowflake connectors like JDBC, ODBC, Python and Spark connectors. Chapter 25 would be the last chapter, and we will cover Power BI and Tableau with Snowflake and how to build a simple dashboard. So what are we going to talk in this chapter? In this chapter, we'll talk about Snowflake history. We'll also see the evolution of cloud data platform in 4 different phases, how the modern data architecture look like, and what is the value of cloud data platform and why we are talking too much about the cloud data platform. What Snowflake define as a one platform, one data copy and many workload concept.
Before we start, I request you to look into my Snowflake playlist, which covers a lot of topics like SnowPro certification guide, SnowPro certification tutorial, Snowflake connector series, Snowflake features and limitation, and many more such videos. I am getting a lot of positive and constructive feedback from my audience, a lot of success for my certification audience, and those certification videos are very popular. So please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button to get notified of my latest videos and be the first to know more about Snowflake. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
So let's talk about Snowflake history. It is good to talk about Snowflake's history before we really start and build an understanding about Snowflake. Snowflake was founded in 2012 in San Mateo, California. It was built by 3 data warehouse experts named Benoit Doshville, Thierry Cruens, and Marcin Chukaski. Benoit Doshville and Thierry Cruens previously worked as a data architect at Oracle Corporations. And sometime when you refer the Snowflake documentation, it talks about certain features and certain data type which is not supported for Oracle. The company's name was chosen as a tribute to the founders' love of snow sports. The Cloud Data Warehouse became GA in June 2015 with 80 organizations. Snowflake was identified as a cool vendor in Gartner Magic Quadrant and won first place in 2015. Now let's talk about evolution of cloud data platform. The phase 1, or we call it first evolution. It is the age of traditional on-premises enterprise data warehouse. They were able to answer the business questions and queries very fast. They were all SQL databases, and later it enhanced to the massive parallel processing databases. The challenges with these traditional on-premises enterprise data warehouses are not designed for all kind of data like structured as well as unstructured. Not designed for all the users who may have demand for that data like data scientist or ad hoc analyst. Inherently incapable to scale up and down as per business demand. So these are the limitations of the first phase data warehouses. So let's talk about the second evolution of the cloud data platform. It is also called the first generation cloud enterprise data warehouse. What they have done, they have primarily moved the same on-premises code base into the public cloud. It was able to answer the queries, and it was all SQL databases. But inherent problem still exists, like not all the data was supported, specifically unstructured, and not all the users were having access to these data set. When it comes to the third evolution or a third phase, where we talk about Hadoop or a data lake, you can load any kind of data. A lot of users who have a demand for the data can access it to a certain extent. but not fast and no native support to SQLs. The performance and scalability was challenging, specifically when it comes to the operational efficiency and manageability. Finally, it is a fourth evolution where we see the true cloud data platforms. And here it is Snowflake. All users, all data, fast answers, all SQL, all features are in a single platform. Natively ingest structure as well as semi-structured data, concurrent access to as many users within the organization, standard SQL database, so easy to manage. So this is the journey for the cloud data platform. So let's talk about modern data architecture with Snowflake. So before we get into with Snowflake, let's try to understand what is that modern data architecture. If you look into this diagram, the left hand side, you have a different kind of data sources. The data is being generated in OLTP system, from enterprise application, from third party, from weblog and IoT devices. The frequency and the volume of the data varies, and your modern data architecture or a platform should be able to onboard or ingest all such data, no matter what is the volume and what is speed the data is being generated and what is the format of the data, right? Snowflake really support structured as well as unstructured data at whatever be the speed it is able to ingest data within the Snowflake cloud data platform. When it comes to the different use cases or different kind of data architecture, whether it is data warehouse, data lake, data engineering, data exchange, data application, or a data science, Snowflake, being a modern data architecture platform, supports all kind of use cases, and it also supports its implementation in all three major cloud platforms. And that's how you give a value to your data consumer, who can monetize from the data, which can see the operational reporting pretty fast. Ad hoc analyst users can also access this platform, and real-time analytics can also happen. So this is the core feature of a modern data architecture, and Snowflake really support all kind of use cases, any volume of data at any speed. So when we talk about Snowflake is built for a cloud. What does it mean? That it is built from scratch for all cloud native features, and it is optimized for cloud, whether we talk about AWS, Azure, or GCP, and its storage and compute is decoupled. So you can scale storage separately and you can scale compute separately. All kind of use cases are supported. We have spoken about it, like data warehouse, data lake, data engineering, streaming, data application, data science, and data exchange use cases. Share data to internal as well as external customers securely. Snowflake is a software as a service. So you don't need to have any software installed. You don't need to upgrade and manage your infrastructure. Any update, maintenance, releases are done by the Snowflake, and it is available to all your customers automatically. It is available in all three major cloud providers. Pay only for use, compute, and storage. Storage and compute charge independently and only for the usage, and that is one of the challenge we have with Hadoop and big data platforms. If you store terabytes of data and no processing, you will be charged only for the storage and not for compute. So there are many use cases which stores a large amount of historical data and it is used once in a while. In such case, you will only be charged for the small compute and the large dataset storage. Scalability. Virtual warehouses enable compute scaling independently from the storage. The scalability is virtually unlimited, and the storage and compute both can scale as needed, independent from each other. So these are the core feature of Snowflake, which enable your organization to support the modern data architecture. Let's talk about what is the value the cloud data platform brings to the table. So the first one is that unlimited performance and scale. In today's world, a lot of new use cases are coming, and we need the platform to be flexible and elastic enough so we can scale up and down as needed. And Snowflake really gives that feature. Near zero maintenance as a service. So in Snowflake, you don't need to really do any kind of infrastructure maintenance. So Snowflake is a one platform where you can have one copy of data and you can have many different kind of workload for a different use cases. The data is completely secure, and you can also share the data securely within the organization and outside the organization. So these are the true value which a cloud data platform brings, and that's why Snowflake is so popular, as it supports all kind of workload securely. So let's talk about one platform, one copy of data, and many workload concept. As we have seen, Snowflake supports different kind of use cases, whether it is a data warehouse, whether it is a data engineering, whether it is a data lake, or it is a data application where you build a fast and scalable analytic solutions to delight your customer, or if you have a data exchange where you want to monetize your data, or it is a data science. All these use cases are supported by Snowflake, and you just have to work with one platform, one copy of data, and many users can really use this platform for different needs and different purpose. So what we have learned in this chapter, so we have covered pretty much about what is the evolution of cloud data warehouse technologies and benefit it brings to the developer and business users, history of the Snowflake, the modern data architecture with Snowflake, the value of cloud data platform, especially in the context of Snowflake data warehouse, how Snowflake enables and serve many different kind of workload. So what's the next chapter? In the next chapter, we'll talk about Snowflake free trial and do the registration process and perform a hands-on exercise. So thank you for watching this Snowflake tutorial video series. If you have any constructive feedback or area of improvement or anything else, please share your comment. Refer to the description section below for additional documentation, tutorial links, and supporting reading materials. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get notified of my latest videos and data engineering educational contents. Please like and share the video with your team and other Snowflake enthusiasts. I have a disclaimer before I end this video. Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse is a software as a service, and hence upgrade itself more frequently and also enhances existing ones and fixes bug on a weekly release. By the time you finish watching this series, some of the features will change or upgrade or become obsolete. Hence, my recommendation to my audience is to refer to the latest Snowflake documentation besides referring to my video content, as you can see in the diagram below. I also add those upgrades, updates, deprecated items if applicable in the context of this video content in the description section, as well as pin them as my first comment so you don't carry any incorrect information from this video. Thank you and happy learning.